Hey friends, it's Dustin Hill, your host of Faith to Impact and Income, and thank you for tuning in today. Today, if you're watching live, is a little bit earlier. We're heading out of town for Easter, and so just gonna, get this done earlier so that we can get on the road and stuff. And so I'm excited to be able to talk to you today about things not working out, like what happens when things don't work out, and why that there might be an underlying message and something that you can learn from that that's a real blessing. Okay, and so the what's interesting is, like I mentioned, we're leaving to go up to see some family for Easter, and so it's up around like Logan, Utah, and so super excited to be able to see family and be able to spend time, especially celebrating our Savior and Easter. Like it's just amazing, and this is such an important time of year, and just very grateful for that. And also, The Chosen season 2 is coming out. I'm not sure we're gonna have time to watch it on Easter, but so cool, an amazing show. If you haven't watched it yet, definitely got to go check that out. And so, it's just like in preparing to go, what I've learned is that it's important to like check the oil in the car. Especially, we have this Honda Odyssey. Anyone else have an Odyssey out there? It's a pretty popular van. If you have a bunch of kids like we do. So it's one of those things that I always like to check the oil, and especially with ours, because it does tend to burn oil. I think that, and this happened with our last one. It just sounds like it's something that can happen every 1,000 miles or so. It can burn some oil, and that's kind of normal. And so that's something I check before we go, just to make sure that we're good to go. So I checked last night. I opened the hood, I pull out the dipstick, and then wipe it off, and then put it back in and see, pull it out to see how much oil's on there. It looks like it was at the minimum. So I was like, okay, we need to put some in there. So take off the oil cap, and then I go get some extra oil that we had in the back of the van, bring it up, put the funnel on there. I pour the oil in, and then I, get everything kind of situated. I'd let that go. I finished the little bottle, so I went and took that to the trash, came back, and then I, okay, let's get this all cleaned up. So I take the funnel out of there, and and then I'm going to put everything away, right? So I put that away, and I think pretty much everything out, like through the, went and washed my hands and had this, little, napkin to take care of the oil that I had to use on the dipstick to make sure the level was okay and stuff like that. And so then I go to close the hood, and so I'm closing the hood, and it's just not really closing like normal. It's kind of like it doesn't sound quite right, and so I'm not really sure. Like I look, and there's the little thing that holds up the hood, and I'm thinking, well, maybe that isn't quite situated right, because that's been kind of funky. And so I'm messing around with that and trying to see if I can get that to go. And I'm not really sure if that's like sticking up a little bit more, because it was kind of falling off. So I tried to like screw it on more, and so then it was sitting a little funny, so I wasn't really sure. So I tried closing it again. It just wasn't still doing it. It still just wasn't closing super well. So I wasn't really sure again. And I kind of looked down closer to that piece and kind of bring the hood down slowly and see, would that interfere with it? And it looks like it actually wouldn't. So I was kind of confused at why it wouldn't do that. I was like, well, I guess I'll just slam. So I slam it down, and it finally closes fine. And I'm like, okay, that's great. And then I'm putting something away, and I just have this like thought of like, well, that's kind of weird. Why was that not doing, like, it's always worked fine? And I just remembered, I was like, wait, did I put the oil cap back on? And I was like, I don't know if I did. I don't remember doing that. And so I was like, whew, okay, let's pop this open. So I popped the trunk, or the hood open again. I lift it up, and sure enough, the oil cap was just sitting there, because I just set it on, like, on part of the hood, or the inner part of the car, and so basically it was just totally open. And just like, I was just so grateful that that happened, that like it was hard, that there was something weird going on, because then, like, had I not known that, and we just were driving without the oil cap on, like, that could have been so bad. I mean, I don't even know what happens when that happens, but I mean, you can imagine all this oil is spewing out, and potentially just I don't even know if the car would start. It probably would, but anyway, so like just major problems could happen with that. And so I'm so grateful that that happened, where it's like this weird thing that, like, oh, it's like the hood's not going down, it's not happening. And so then I could realize that, hey, maybe there's something up with this. Maybe there's something that I need to check. Maybe there's something I need to look at and say, hey, is this, something's off here, right? And so I'm just grateful again that that happened, because had I placed that cap somewhere where it would have fit okay, then like I slammed and I just wouldn't have even thought of it probably, or, maybe God would have, reminded me kind of like he did this time too. But, it's just one of those things that I just wanted to bring up is that I think sometimes we focus so much on things going well that when things don't go right, we always just assume, oh, like, I guess it's just not meant to be. Oh, I guess like, I can't do this thing, or there's just something that's not quite right here. And it's just, I guess like my life is just hard, like, especially one of our kids recently has been very kind of negative about things. It's like, oh man, I just like, you guys never do this, or like, I'm never going to be able to do this. And like, just very negative talk and everything like that. And so it's just kind of, it's been kind of a bummer to see that, but like trying to help him be a little more positive about things. But it's just, I feel like for me, I used to do that a lot where I would see situations, things would happen, and I would just kind of automatically default to, oh, this is going to work. Oh, this is bad, and just like not having that right mindset where, again, I think sometimes we have things happen that don't work out. And maybe for us, because we have this limited view that it's hard because we're like, I don't get why this thing didn't work out as I wanted it to. But then if we look deeper, sometimes we'll find something that, and I believe many times we'll find something that will help us to see that, that maybe there's a problem that we need to fix. Maybe there's some reason that thing didn't work out so that we could really understand, oh, okay, that's why I needed to hear this. Wanted to do a quick shout out to Brian Davis. So happy Friday. Thanks for commenting on the live. And so just, I think for me, even if I look at like, so my initial plan for this year was very different. And then I kind of shifted gears and said, okay, what I'm going to do is do a monthly live event. And that's where I can really pour into people, really help them out, and then find people that want to continue to work with me. And that's worked really well. And it's been awesome. I'm so grateful for that. But as I've gone through that, I've noticed a little bit of friction where if there's not an event coming up soon enough, then sometimes people like they might be ready to work with me. And so it's like, okay, well, let's have a better process. And I just didn't really have that process figured out. And so I'm grateful that there was that friction. I didn't like feel great about it, because then it's helped me to see, okay, I need to set up this process so that no matter when, people do want to work with me, because it's going to be, different times throughout the coming years and everything like that, is like, I need to have that process defined and something. And so anyways, I'm just grateful for the friction that was there, because then it helped me to step back and look at, okay, maybe there's something I need to look at, right? And that's really the message for today. Kind of just like with the oil and the van, right? Is like that hood would not close, and there was some reason for that. Something was kind of in the way. And so I'm grateful that I eventually realized, hey, this is what it is, so that I could put it back, because it really saved a really catastrophic thing from happening. And so, my message to you is just to, next time something bad happens, look and see how can that potentially be a blessing for you. Maybe there's some reason that happened. And so dig deep to really look at that. And also just know that you can do it, that you are at the perfect place for you. Okay. Like, I think too much online, especially with social media, we look at where other people are at, we see the success that they have or whatever it is. And we're kind of like, man, why am I not there? And we are depressed and just sad because of that. But pretty much anytime you look at the potential, like your truest potential, or the thing where you really want to be, or where someone else is right now, you're almost always going to get sad, right? Like that, maybe it should be some motivation. Hey, that's where I want to get. But if you're constantly looking at that and saying, oh, I'm not there yet, you're pretty much going to do that for the rest of your life. Right. I mean, isn't that true? I mean, you're going to continue to look at that person, because let's say you have an influencer that you love, and so you're following them and you really want to become what they have become, or, have the follower count, have that type of thing. Well, they're going to continue to grow too, right? They're going to shift gears. They're going to and if you continue to do that, then you're always going to be behind, and you're always going to be sad because you're not where that person is, and they're a different person too. And so I just want you to know that you're at the perfect spot for you right now, and you have everything in your power to be able to be successful and to do the things that you want. And so just what I would encourage you to do is to, rather than looking at the potential of where you want to go. Now, that is important, and we need to create that and look at where that is, and make sure that we're making progress towards that. But when you're measuring progress, you really should be looking backwards in a sense. You need to look at where were you before and where are you now, and that can really help you to see and to be happier, right? And as far as the future goes, again, yes, please look at that, map it out, understand where you want to go. Because if you don't understand where you want to go, then it's hard to actually get there. So that's super important as well. But just again, make sure that you give yourself enough credit to and know that you can do this. And then, like I mentioned in the beginning, it's really like if things are not working out, there might be some sort of reason, and just look for why that might be. Look for why that might not be working. And that can be potentially a way to pivot. Maybe it is something you say, hey, I've done this for a while and I need to pivot. Maybe though it's something as simple as, I need to have a process set up. Kind of like I mentioned for me, is my plan was mainly to do live events, but just realized there was some friction. There's some other reasons for that. And again, it's worked out well, but that I need to have another process set up, more of an application process where then I can get on the phone with people that are ready and that type of stuff. And so just like that will happen. There's going to be things that happen that don't seem that it seems like, why is this not working out? But rather than saying, oh man, this always happens, or oh man, I'm just super sad about this, that I'm not where I want to be, that look at what the reason is and then be able to go and find that thing. Because sometimes that's the exact thing that we need so that we can go and find the thing that's not working, go find why this was inspired and why this was helpful. So appreciate you tuning in for this, and I hope that it's been helpful for you. Just a reminder too that this, is streaming live daily throughout the week, and so it'll go on Facebook and on YouTube, on Twitter right now, and maybe more destinations in the future. And then it's also on podcasts too. So whether you're listening, whether you're watching, super appreciative of you. And if you are on YouTube or on the podcast, then please subscribe. Please share with your friends as well, no matter where you're seeing this, because I really just want to provide value to and really help you out in your life. I want to help you to use your faith to impact the world, to make it a positive impact, and to also bring in income as well. And so super excited to continue to provide this content here, and I just appreciate all that you do. So thanks so much, and have an amazing Easter. I really hope that you'll have some time to, really think about your Savior, Jesus Christ, and what he's done for you, and the fact that he lives now, that he was resurrected, and that he's here for you, and not, and for so many reasons, right? He's suffered for your sins, and he's resurrected so that you can be resurrected like him, and he's helping you in everything that you could want. That if you continue to seek him out, that's how you'll be able to continue to see success in your family and your business and everything else that you're trying to do. So thanks so much. Have an amazing Easter, and I will talk to you later.